today we want to give you a step-by-step guide on how to start a laser engraving business and get it off the ground and running. Hi, I'm Rayanne.
And I'm Dwayne.
And we're Engraving. There are a lot of things to consider when you want to start a laser engraving business, and we want to cover some of the really important ones today. So number one, we're going to talk about equipment.
So equipment is crucial. So Rayanne started researching the equipment for us. We didn't really know if we should start with a smaller end laser, if we should go with the middle or the upper. We honestly suggest that you should start somewhere in the middle so that you don't have any limitations. So we went with the 2616.
Yep. So looking into lasers, I really didn't know what a laser actually did, but it kept coming up every time I was trying to find something to help me grow my business where I wasn't limited. I was doing everything by hand, and I needed something to keep up and to continue to grow. So when I started looking into lasers, AP laser wasn't the first choice. It ended up being the choice, but it wasn't what I was looking into first, and eventually it just started coming up in my newsfeed. I really wanted something that I knew was efficient, that was going to get the job done quickly and efficiently, and something that I knew I wasn't just going to buy and use a few times and then it was going to break down and I'd be out. So when I looked into AP laser, it actually took me 2 years to make the leap and actually purchase my first machine, but I'm happy that I took that time. Equipment is number one. Don't ever just jump into a purchase without researching, and make sure that you know that there are other people like us and like the other AP laser users that are out there and can attest to its performance. And in saying that, we now have the 2616 from AP Laser. So we do the majority of our cups on that one. And then we also have the AP Laser 4836, which is the numbers that represents the engraving area. The 4836 and the 2616 are both open architecture. So we have 2 machines now that run 6 to 7 days a week, and we aren't limited to the jobs that we can complete. We definitely made the right decision on that one, and you need to really research the company that you're going with.
And when you're going to pay good money for equipment, you really want to make sure that it's going to be reliable. So it was the best decision, like Rayanne said, for us to choose AP Laser. And we're not just saying that because we're AP Laser members, but at the same time, it's been more than good to us. We've seen people with machines that's been active for the last 15, 20 years. So when you take that success rate into account, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So on to number 2 is going to be choosing the items that you will sell and to see return on your investment. So we found it can be overwhelming once you get into the laser engraving business. When I had my engraving business, I was limited to glassware, so I had like a good range of products that I was able to create with. But once I got into a laser engraver, it opened up a whole new world of things that I could work with, which it can be really overwhelming if you don't know the direction that you're going in, and if you don't know what you want to work with, what your customers want. So it's really important to nail down the products that you want to sell, the things you want to create, and essentially just make sure you actually enjoy doing what you're working with, because if not, you lose that motivation and that gas to keep pushing forward.
And you don't want to spend tens of thousands of dollars on materials that you can literally buy raw material and make the exact same thing. So a couple of the big things that we use for a sheet stock would be the clear cast acrylic. We use black cast acrylic. We use our maple wood and our MDF hardboard that we do all the sublimation. Well, Rayanne does it all because I don't have anything to do with that. And leather. Like leather is another one that we use. So you buy all these things in sheet stock and you can literally make it. So choosing the right items is so important, because you don't want to have items where you're not turning it, you're just sitting on inventory, and that can ultimately fail your business. So you want to choose those items that can make you money and really add value to the items. So
Yeah, and like when you're working with raw material, that is something you can turn into anything. If you're going out and you're buying 100 heart shape of anything, or acrylic keychain or something like that, that you're not making from your own materials, that's sitting there until somebody wants it. So when you're using the raw material, you can make that into literally anything. So yeah, choosing the right materials for what you want to work with, what you want to sell, what your customers are looking for, that is really important. So number 3 is going to be, how are you selling your items? So that is important because you don't just buy a laser and automatically have a full-blown
customer.
yes, or a retail store or like a mom and pop shop. So that took time. Before I had my laser, like I said, I did a lot of glass etching by hand. I was a home-based business. I used to attend a lot of flea markets, fairs, and things like that. I grew a really good following through my Facebook page that we still have and run today. So that was created before 2010. I go back sometimes and look at some of those posts and I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking there? But so we still use that page. And then from there, I actually open up an online shop when I've published my first book. So I use that as a landing point for purchasing my book. And then I started adding some of my creations there, my glass etchings. And I began to see orders come in from all over our country and then even other countries. We still use that online shop today. We opened our shop doors in 2020. At that time, I still was attending some fairs and things like that, but word of mouth. So now we have our Facebook page. We're using YouTube. We use TikTok. We have our online shop, and then we have our physical store. And over the years, we've really accumulated a lot of wholesale customers, so that might sound overwhelming to someone that's just starting out.
Oh, definitely.
But start with one of those, maybe an online shop. There's Etsy and things like that. And yeah, you go from there. So we also have our POS system that I used to have a little handheld one. Now we have the full thing in our shop.
So we started with Square POS, and we recommend it to so many people. They're so great for new small businesses, family businesses like ourselves for starting up. Really user friendly. Obviously, when you start an engraving business, you need to have a POS system. So you need to create inventory. You need to have things that you're going to sell. You're going to need to price those items. So all these things you have to take into consideration, that you have to know the cost and what you're going to make in profit. And all those things are just huge pieces to be able to grow your business. So
yeah, that's really good. Maybe we can call this 3.5 because I do want to add in something. When you're getting into a laser engraving business, I said the store and all this stuff, but you do need the right space for your laser engraver. You'll need a ventilation system because when you're burning things like that, it creates smoke. But with AP laser, it has a really great ventilation. It blows out to the top, right to a little funnel, and it blows right outside. We do know people that have their lasers in their homes. Some just have it in their garage. We rented a tiny little basement space and we set up our laser down there. So you need to have the right space for your laser. So we're going to move on to number 4, and that is getting suppliers for all of your products, because not everything that is engravable can be bought from just any store.
So with AP laser, I keep going back to that, but Supernova is huge, especially if you're going to get into slates and the memorial business and drinkware, cast acrylic, all these items that we probably mentioned, you can get from Supernova. So that's just buying your laser. You've got access to the Supernova store. You can go on there and buy things, and that's just one step. So there's a couple other suppliers that we do use. JDS in the US, they also ship to Canadian customers as well. And we've got Tromart in Canada as well that we deal with. So they're great suppliers of us. There's tons of suppliers out there that you can ultimately buy from, Amazon. We always try to say support local, so if you can buy locally, that would be great too. But at the same time, you're going to need to outsource some of these things. So having suppliers to run your business that are, you know, legitimate, good suppliers that can actually tailor to your needs and be efficient and get product to you quickly, it just enables you to be able to grow your business and run your business a lot better.
So moving on, we're going to go into number 5. This might seem like the most simple advice. You're going to fail, and don't be afraid of that. Be creative and use the tools in your toolbox. So we learned this from Matt Buxton. He's a former engraver of AP Laser, and he always says that every experience is like a tool. So take that and put it into your toolbox. And Dwayne really liked what he said that, and he's been using it ever since. But yeah, I guess it just comes down to you're going to have to put the work in, because the lasers will work really great, but it's only going to work as hard as you do.
Absolutely. And never stop learning. Like, don't automatically assume that you know everything, because, you know, we all, I guess, get overconfident and say, like, I can't learn anything from that person. I can't learn anything from that person. You know, with photos and things like that and settings, I'm always researching and I'm trying to learn, whether it's watching videos or talking to colleagues or in the AP Laser user group or whatever it might be. Just, there's a fountain of information out there, and never stop learning, because you're never going to advance your skills to the point that you want to be if you just stay stagnant and you stop learning. So Matt Buxton, just go back to what Rayanne said, he's a partner of AP Laser. We actually, in Orlando, when we went out to Okeechobee, he owns the Memorial, a funeral home out there. It's a beautiful spot. We got to hear the background story. He's a true partner of AP Laser, and he's taught us so much just from being at that conference. So these are things, like Rayanne said, that he's taught us, is tools in your toolbox. So just have those tools and, you know, listen to people that has been in this business for a long time, because you can learn a lot of useful information.
On to number 6, go with setting up your business name. That seems like it should have been number 1, but really it's not, because when you go into starting a business, you want to find a name that's unique, it's different, and people are going to know what it is as soon as they hear it. So I think that is a really great piece of advice. And now you might be asking, well, what does Inuki mean? So when we started, I am Inuit. So Inuki was just a slang that we used when growing up, just to be like, oh, you're kind of saying like you're really native. But I had that business name years before we actually got into laser engraving. It was Inuki Glass Art. So when we finally opened up our shop, we got into laser engraving. At this point, I already had such a huge following that it was really hard to rebrand my name. So we added "and engraving" to the end.
And then an ink.
Yeah, because we're incorporated. But I think my advice to you would be definitely to have a name that is, as soon as it's mentioned or read, someone's going to know, okay, they offer engraving services. Because sometimes we still, like, we're called Inuki Engraving right now. We go by Inuki Glass. A lot of people still message and be like, do you do engraving? Even though it's at the end of our name. So make sure to have a memorable name, something that people can pronounce easily, and try not to make it too long.
So I think that covers everything that we got to say for those tips. Obviously, there's, you know, these are the basic, you know, not basic, but just the starting points for you to make sure that you get set up the right way. And that is just not buying a laser engraver and saying that I'm going to set up my ventilation, you know, and start engraving products. Because there's many things to consider beforehand, and we just ran through some of them. So,
yeah. And yeah, I think that the put in the work thing is, we still have to do that every day. And I know that we're going to do that every day for many years to come, but it does get easier when you get into the flow of things and you know what you are wanting to create, what your customers want, and especially to make sure that you're keeping it enjoyable, because it actually is true what they say that do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. We do work and we work hard, but there aren't many days that I can say like, oh, I wish I didn't do this. I wish this wasn't what I was doing, because we really do love what we do. Some days are hard, some days are harder than others, but at the end of the day, we're doing this because we love it, and we just want to share this journey with you. So if you like this video, you can subscribe to our channel. We'll be back weekly with new content, tips on how to master your craft and grow your business.
See you guys.